Ishvara is in that causal state, there's ignorance, Swamiji.
Maya. So at the individual level, what is called ignorance is called Maya at the cosmic level. So individual upadhi is called ignorance. The cosmic upadhi is called Maya. Individual costume is ignorance. The cosmic costume is Maya.
I always thought that when you're in deep sleep, that's the time that you are one with Brahman. So there's no ignorance at that time.
You are covered in ignorance completely. You are one with Brahman, but you don't know that.
Yes, you don't know.
And there is no awareness. Because when Bhagavan is sleeping, he knows there is Brahman.
So for us,
when Jiva is sleeping, he doesn't know there is Brahman, even though he has become one with Brahman. When Lord Narayan is sleeping, he knows there is Brahman, even when he is sleeping. That's the difference.
So for us to experience who we really, the self, is you need to be in the waking state only then.
Yeah. To gain the knowledge, we have to be in the waking state only.
Or in the samadhi, I guess.
But that is the waking state only.
Alertness, yeah.
Better waking. The idea is that dream and deep sleep states are utilized for analysis, to learn from them. Dream state is a very beautiful example to explain what is mithya. And deep sleep state is a very good example to explain what is moksha. Because deep sleep state, you are essentially free. Because that ahankara, the ego, is completely resolved. The sense of individuality which creates a sense of smallness is no more there. So deep sleep state, we are completely resolved or completely free from sense of individuality. And so we are free. But that is the veil of ignorance, therefore we do not know that we are free. So what happens naturally in ignorance has to be deliberately done in waking. So difference between samadhi and deep sleep is, in deep sleep there is the veil of ignorance. In samadhi there is a light of sattva, light of knowledge. That's the
Because
difference.
you alert something, it's your will.
You're awake.
Swamiji, they say you can experience even the deep sleep. Is that true?
You can experience deep sleep, yes.
Like you are not ignorant.
Yes, exactly. So when you can experience a state similar to deep sleep. What is the deep sleep state? When the ego is completely resolved. When there is no awareness of the gross world, no awareness of the dream world, and the ego is resolved. You can create the state while you are awake by withdrawing your consciousness from the gross body. When you give up the identification of the gross body, you no more remain aware of the gross world. When you give identity with subtle body, then you no more remain aware of subtle world. And when there is knowledge, then when you drop even the meditator, then what remains is the pure self. So you can say that you are experiencing deep sleep, but then wakeful sleep. You cannot be aware of deep sleep in the real deep sleep. Otherwise you don't be asleep. So you can ask any question, okay? I mean, whether it pertains to what we talked about, or you said a lot of things. But any other questions you may have in your mind, you can raise them. If you write and give me, I'll be happier. But you can still go ahead and ask, yeah.
The more I listen to Vedanta, I get more tranquil and I'm less agitated. However, I also don't see the point in doing much. I'm happy with things the way they are. I just do my basic duty, whatever I have to do. And then I just be. Now, is that tamas or is it okay?
It is okay. As long as you feel happy, it is okay. In tamas, you don't feel happy at all. And so you just want to sleep. In tamas, you want to avoid everything. In sattva, you include everything. So when you say that you don't feel like doing it, you don't want to disturb that state of mind. And therefore you want to minimize your engagement so that that tranquil state of mind can be retained.
It's not being lazy.
No, not at all. Not being lazy. Please explain the macrocosmic aspects of the organs of perception and action. You see, microcosm means individual. Macrocosm means cosmos. So we just described actually this. Cosmos also is imagined to be a person, cosmic person. And cosmic person has as though the same kind of limbs that we have. So we said that the sun are the eyes of the cosmic person. So sun is the presiding deity of our eyes. So our eyes function with the grace of sun. And the sun resides in our eyes, the fraction of sun resides in our eyes. It's Devata. The sun god as a fraction resides in our eyes. And so there is a correspondence between the eyes and the sun. Sun is the eyes of the cosmic person, and these are our eyes. Similarly, faculty of hearing, ears. The directions or quarters are called the ears of the cosmic person. Directions. Because you hear through space. The sound travels in space, requires space to travel. And therefore space or the directions of the quarters are considered to be the ears of the cosmic person. We have the feet. Feet is what we are standing on. So earth is imagined to be the feet of the Lord. We have the head. In the head we have all the devatas, All the organs of perception are in the head. All the organs of perception are in the head, they are all devatas. So, Surya Devata has the eyes, Moon Devata has the mind, Quarters Devata has the ears, Earth Devata has the nose, the Water Devata has our tongue. So, therefore the head, heaven is where all the devatas are supposed to be. So heaven is the head of the cosmic person. See the correspondence? Our head corresponds to heaven of the cosmic person. Our feet correspond to the earth of the cosmic person. And our eyes correspond to the sun. Our mind corresponds to the moon. The moon corresponds to the mind. Sun corresponds to the eyes. Earth corresponds to the feet. Heaven corresponds to the head. The wind corresponds to the breeze. The wind corresponds to the breeze, or the breath rather. The wind corresponds to the breath. The mouth corresponds to the fire. Fire corresponds to the mouth. So fire is the cosmic mouth. Sun is the cosmic eyes. Wind is the cosmic breath. The ocean is the cosmic bladder. So this is how we can see the correspondence between the microcosm and macrocosm. Is it clear? Okay. What are the rajasic and sattvic aspect of a table, for example? If you say the table is made of sattva, rajas, tamas, then where is rajas and tamas in that? Where is rajas and sattva in that? It's all tamas, all inertia. True, it's all tamas aspect which is made into this universe and all the objects. But then, at the atomic level, the movements are going on in the table also. So you can call that the rajas aspect because movement is going on in the table at the atomic level, isn't it so? And also, sometimes the table becomes also a source of my happiness. So that is the sattva aspect of table. Because sattva, where sattva is there is happiness. Please help me categorize emotions into rajasic and tamasic. Sattvic emotions are clear to me. What are the rajasic emotions? The 14th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita describes these different emotions. So how rajas is described? When there is predominance of rajas in our mind, lobha, pravrittirarambha, karmanam ashamaspruha. Lord Krishna says greed, pravritti, activity, karmanam arambha, undertaking one project after the other, ashamaha, restlessness, spruha, attachment. So attachment, restlessness, ceaseless activity, greed, dissatisfaction. So these are some of the emotions of the rajas. Aprakasha, apravrittischa, pramado, moha evacha. The laziness, pramada, inadvertence, carelessness, dullness of the mind when it cannot understand, So what we are talking right now can be understood when the mind is essentially sattvic. The mind is rajas, then it will be distracted and maybe thinking of all kinds of things. The mind is tamasic, then it can't understand what Swami is talking about. So tamas aprakasha, where things don't occur to us, don't strike in our mind. Apravritti, when you don't feel like doing anything, there is no initiative at all. Moha, delusion, you take things opposite of what they are. Pramada, inadvertence and laziness. So these are the emotions of the tamoguna.
Actually, I wanted clarification on things like, wickedness, revenge, and
So
like is there a category
wickedness, revenge, anger, hatred, all of these are tamas. But tamas brings about this. What would you call the experience of forgetting where you are, who you are, etc. So you are lost, not forgetting really, but you are lost as to where you are, who you are, while listening to bhajans or when chanting in the mandir, when you are this, what do you call it? We call it bhava samadhi. Samadhi means state of absorption. Bhava samadhi, you get absorbed in a certain bhava of devotion, which is beautiful. So if you are lost while chanting bhajans or listening to bhajans, etc., your mind is sattvic, and therefore you go into the state of absorption. That's the whole purpose also. To create absorption is the purpose of this bhajans, kirtans, chanting, etc. So mind gets absorbed. And music, and particularly chanting, takes place in a certain way. Bhajans are sung in a certain way. They are more effective. So when some singers sing bhajans in certain ways, it is much more effective. And you do get lost. So that is a state of sattva. When you are lost in the bhava or the experience of Ishvara, essentially.
So Swamiji, what would you say to this? Now this is somebody else's question, she can't come. So this incident happened that this person wanted to sell his truck online, and two people came and they went for a drive, and so he was lost, like he was missing. And then now they found out
Who was missing?
the person who was selling.
Was missing?
Didn't
They
come
thought
back.
he was kidnapped.
Yeah. So yesterday they found out that he is killed and burnt. So this lady was saying, that made me very furious. I feel that it's because the punishment is not hard enough on criminals. That's why this is going on. I feel that these criminals should be killed. So, Swamiji, now, when you think thoughts like that, what is...
It is tamas.
it is tamasana. Because it's not inclusive. We are just
Because this is revenge. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't say it is wrong or right, but it is, that's what it is.
So then, Swamiji, is it then, do you say it is in the grand scheme of things, this is exactly karma playing out? So, I mean, of course you should have compassion that this person has of course been killed in this way. But then is this part of the divine plan? Is this part of the destiny? Is that what it is?
That's what it is. That's
It
what we have to
is.
accept.
So how do we sort of look at it? With no feeling, or what is it? How should the emotion be then? Because anger does come in, like with the 3 girls that were kidnapped. You know, you say that he should rot in jail and then probably be given the death penalty. So that in a way does bring up these feelings. The pain and the compassion for the girls firstly, and then the anger directed towards the person.
True. Well, it depends on how much we have grown and what perception we have of that person. There's no doubt that the person has done what the person has done. But the person remains a simple, beautiful, loving person in spite of this behavior. In spite of kidnapping and killing these girls, the murderer, the criminal, remains at the core. At the core. But the core is so much embedded deep that it rarely ever shows up. It will show up in his own child. So when his own child comes before him, he will become you may see a glimpse of a loving, kind person, which is there, but deeply embedded. So suppose you are able to see that also, that truly this person is a loving person. And he has done this only because of his wrong upbringing, his own pain. So it depends on how you actually arrive at the cause of this. You just look at the killing, then right away you want to kill him. So this debate is going on forever, whether there should be capital punishment or not. But anyway, if you are also able to take into account that this person is helplessly doing this, the idea is that when rajas and tamas take over our mind, we have become helpless. Anger takes over mind, we become helpless. So all acts of criminality are out of helplessness. all violation of values out of helplessness. Because when a person is in the right mind, nobody wants to hurt. Everybody at the most core level is a saint. He doesn't, even when he kills, he always covers his, his trail because he doesn't want to be killed. Meaning that he does respect non-violence as far as he is concerned. But he is so tamasic that the benefit that he gives to himself is not able to give to other person. But that is because he doesn't have the right education, doesn't have the right upbringing, doesn't have the right mindset. Had that been there, so the theory is that you can transform that person. So should we give him an opportunity to be transformed and become a good citizen, or should we finish him off? So these debates are all these things,
Swamiji, when they were trying to look for those girls, he was there helping the family also. So on one side, he was behaving that way, that he has sympathy for the family, but at the same time, he had already kidnapped and kept those girls inside his home. So was it not a split personality?
No, it is all. There is no justification for what the person does. This is an analysis. No, we are not justifying what he does. I'm not saying he shouldn't be punished.
No, but then how can you cure that person or, him?
How can you cure that? I will tell you.
Yeah.
You and I cannot cure. It requires somebody to cure. When there were riots in Calcutta around Independence time, Mahatma Gandhi went in the midst of riots. People advised him, don't go there, but he went there. And he started fasting, saying that, okay, if the riots do not stop, then he will fast unto death. The whole country, the whole world was watching him. What is happening? His health was deteriorating and things like that. And a time came when all those criminals who were responsible for this rioting, they all came to him and laid down their arms at his feet and said that we will not do this. We are now stopping this riot. There are many stories in India and I think elsewhere in the world also, where people have been transformed because of love and compassion. But what love and compassion that you should have, that you and I may not be able to do that. All I am saying is there is a possibility that with love and compassion, therefore all the prisons are called correction facilities really. Theoretically, whatever practically they are is a different thing, but then prisons are called correction, that they are supposed to correct this fellow. They are meant to correct him. So he can come out as an ordinary citizen, as a normal citizen. It's not happening, and that's a long old debate, and I'm not well versed enough on this issue to come to any judgment, but all I'm saying is that what feeling you have, even towards the criminal, depends on you also, not only on the criminal, as to where you are. And if you can see through the criminal, Vasudeva, then there is no question. But even if you can see the core person and see the helplessness of that person, Arjuna asked this question, "Oh Lord, what is it that makes this person helpless and makes him violate his own values? Why did the person commit a sin?" Lord Krishna says, Kamesha, Krodesha. It is lust, it is anger, it is greed. So these are the things that make a person violate the values. So a person may appear to be a cold-blooded murderer, and you think there is right, but he's still a helpless person because his mindset is making him do this. His mind is so distorted. He's become so insensitive. He has fallen in the ladder of evolution so lowly. He's become an animal. Because cats and dogs don't have this awareness. See, we have the awareness that I want to live and live happily, and my neighbor also wants to live and live happily. But cat knows that it wants to live and live happily, but doesn't know that the mouse also wants to live and live. That awareness is not given to them. So without any sense of guilt, it can kill the mouse. And we cannot. If that guilt was given to them, they would not survive. That's why guilt is not given to them. That's why they can merrily go ahead and do what they're programmed to. And that's how the ecological cycle goes on. So this person who can kill cold-blooded without feeling at all, anything at all, has devolved to the level of a cat, to the level of an animal, who is now free, who is now devoid of this emotion, that this act can cause pain, etc. to the person. He's just devoid of that. So that's how hit people, hitman, cold-blooded murderer can do that and feel happy having done that job. Like a cat feels happy having killed a mouse. No difference. So it is not an example to be emulated at all, because he has devolved to a level of an animal.
Person has a lot of evolving to do to get to a state.
A lot of evolving, that's right. A lot of evolving. Then Brahma Jnana can come.
How?
Not simply by some tricks and stuff like that. One has to evolve. There are no shortcuts to this.
Long ride.
It doesn't matter. As long as you're on the path. Lord Krishna comforts Arjuna. Nahi kalyan krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. O my son, whoever is who's in this path of self-growth will never suffer a fall. He will continue to rise. He will be born as a human being and continue his sadhana. But it's a long ride, no doubt about that. Can you please explain the verse about Kausala in action? Yoga karmasu kausalam. There is a verse, there is a statement, this second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Yoga karmasu kausalam. Kausalam means state of being kusala. Kusala means skilled. Kausalam means skill. So yoga karmasu kausalam, translated as skill in action is yoga. The normal translates skill in action, but it's the other way around. Yoga in action is skill. What the sentence means is, yoga in action is skill. Karmasu yoga kausalam. Meaning that when you perform an action in the attitude of yoga, that's a real skill in action. What's a skillful action? What is skill in action? Action normally binds. Because when you perform an action, there is also with that a sense of kartrutva or doership. That binds us. And binds us to the result of the action, makes us bhokta. So the one who is karta today becomes bhokta tomorrow. And who is bhokta becomes karta again and bhokta, and that's how we are bound. However, when you perform an action with the attitude of yoga, what's the attitude? The contributor. Or when you perform a selfless action, action is an offering. Shankaracharya would say action is an offering to the Lord. Then that action becomes a means of freeing you. Action which is normally a cause of binding you becomes a cause of freeing you when that action is performed with the attitude of yoga. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
So what is kausala? Kushalta. What is skill? Skill is when you become free. So normally action is a binding thing. Karmana baddhyate jantuhu. There is a famous statement. Karmana baddhyate jantuhu. Jantuhu, an ignorant person, is bound by karma. Because everybody performs karma with a sense of doership, kartrutvam, there is this ahankara or there is this notion, I am doing it. It is that which binds. But even if that kartrutva is there, if the attitude of yoga is there, if the action is performed selflessly, then that becomes a means of purification of mind. And that's what becomes a means of liberation, indirectly. Therefore, yoga karmasu kaushalam. While performing action, yoga, the attitude of yoga is the real kaushalam, is the real skill. Not how fast we are doing. Spiritual skill we are talking about. The local skill is one kind. But however fast you are and however quick you are and however that kind of skill you have, that action still makes you binding. It binds you still anyway. Just because you can make 150 pieces in 1 hour where somebody makes 100, so you are more skilled and more paid, but still you are more bound anyway. You perform even an action with 50 pieces an hour, but as an offering, then you may not be a great earner, you will be certainly a purer person. So in that sense, Lord Krishna says, yoga karmasu kaushalam. By the way, that's the topic of our whole retreat in the Independence Day. The topic of retreat in the Memorial Day is karmanyavadikaraste. The topic of retreat in the Independence Day is yoga karmasu kaushalam. Anyway, so that's how it is. Is that clear? The existential question is always, who are we? My question is, why are we? Why are we here in the first place? Just to go through a births and births experience. Births and births, experience the media stages and try to understand our existence. Is there a higher and ultimate purpose for our existence in this cosmos? Well, why will become clear when we ask ourselves, do I want something in this life? What do I want? Then there are desires after desires in my mind that shows that there is something that I want. Then I keep on doing actions one after the other. Shows that there are desires one after the other. Means that there is something that I want. So desires keep on changing. One desire manifests, I fulfill it. Another desire arises, I fulfill that. A third desire arises, I fulfill that. So desires are fulfilled one after the other. But the desirer remains, Desires keep on coming and going, but the desirer remains. So then the question is, why am I desiring? What do I want? How come in spite of fulfilling so many desires, that desires keep on arising? Why? What do I basically want? Is there a desire behind the desire? Answer is yes. What do you want? You want simple things, you just want happiness, that's all you want. Why am I then acquired? Then why am I doing so many things? Because you do not know what happiness is and where it is, that's why you're doing it. So what is the purpose of life? To be happy, to be free. How to be happy? Well, that's what Vedanta teaches, that you already are happy, you already are what you're trying to become. Like the 10th man is searching for the 10th man. So he's told, you already are what you are seeking to be. So also Vedanta teaches we already are what we are seeking to be. Therefore to discover that is the purpose of life. To discover that what I am seeking is myself. To gain a complete satisfaction, fulfillment in life. What is the purpose of life? To gain fulfillment. Gain freedom. Gain fulfillment. Lord Krishna says, Etad buddhva buddhiman syat kritakrutyascha bharata. In Bharata, he Arjuna, knowing this, a person becomes buddhiman, intelligent in the real sense, kritakritya, totally fulfilled in the life. So that's the purpose of life, to gain fulfillment. To go through all the experiences so that you become free from the need of experience. You go through all these births so as to become free from the need of the birth. Because birth is a response to a need. Why am I born? To fulfill an agenda. That agenda could not be completed in the last birth, therefore I am born with the agenda. What's the agenda? This is the agenda. That I just want to be happy. Unconditionally happy. Free and simple happiness is what I want. Not complicated happiness. That I can maybe only if this and only if that. No strings attached. Unconditional happiness. That's what I want. That's the purpose of life. That's the agenda with which you are born. So everybody is the same agenda. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Are we done with all questions or anything? Yes, sir.
Swamiji, you explained Shamadama Uparama so well that I thought I'll ask about Vidiksha.
What is Titiksha? Titiksha is endurance, yeah. That's a good translation. Titiksha means the capacity to suffer. Vivek Chudamani describes Titiksha as Sahanam Sarva Dukkhana. Sahanam is suffering, or putting up with all the dukkha, all the pain. That's all. But that we do, Swamiji, where shall we go? We have no choice anyway. So then the qualification, apratikara purvakam, without retaliating. But very often, Swamiji, I don't retaliate because I cannot retaliate. My boss does this. What can I do about it? So then further qualification, vilaparahitam, without lamenting. But Swamiji, today I can, what will happen tomorrow? So chintarahitam, without the anxiety. So, sahanam sarvadukhanam, suffering all the pain. In the present, moment the pain comes, we retaliate. Moment little heat comes, we retaliate. This is called retaliation. Moment little cold comes, we wrap ourselves. Moment little hunger comes, put something in the mouth. Thirst comes, put water in the mouth. Whatever. Discomfort comes, immediately remove that discomfort. These are all small examples. But the point is that moment the pain comes, we retaliate. This is called retaliation. You have to remove that pain. Unfortunately, if you do this, that will take away the whole life. Because pain will keep on coming in different forms. So you'll be busy, always retaliating and correcting. So when we were studying in Bombay, in Sandeepan, in our days of brahmacharya, after a year or so, an American came to our course. He's an American. So who is an American? Who creates America wherever he is. So he started working on, everybody was in a room. Everybody had a separate room for himself or herself. He was very busy. In 6 months, he changed his room completely. There are so many shelves and so many things in his room. So that he can be comfortable. Our rooms remain what they were. But his room changed completely. Because cannot be put up with any discomfort at all. Everything should be where it should be. I must be able to get this, must be able to get that, must be able to do this. Retaliation. It took 6 months of his time. I don't know what he studied during that time, etc. But anyway, the thing is, Lord Krishna just put up with it, Arjuna. Agama, Paino, Nitya, Tam, Titiksha, Swaharata. These small little pricks and pins will keep on coming and let them come and go. Don't interfere. Put up with them. Apratikar purvakam. Very often we do not retaliate outwardly because we don't have freedom to retaliate. Otherwise I will give one, but I see a person in front of me and then I withdraw, pull back. But inside, I'm seething with anger, etc. So, vilaparaitam, no lamenting. Oh, why did he do this and who is he to do that? Our Swami gives an example of this husband and wife traveling in India. So a train passing through Rajasthan, which is a very hot country, and stations are very far apart. And so now one station was gone, and a little while later, the woman says, I'm thirsty. And they ran out of water. So, the man says, okay, let the station come, I'll get water for you. But I'm thirsty. For 2 hours, he kept on repeating, I'm thirsty. The station came, next station, that man ran, brought water, and she had water to her heart's content. Train started. See how thirsty was I? See how thirsty was I? See how thirsty was I? Lamenting what has gone. Or what will happen now if this next station is far away? What will happen to me? That's called chinta. So sahanam saradukhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam sa titiksha nigadyate. Viveka Chudamani describes titiksha in this manner. Basically what it means, sahanam saradukhanam, putting up with all the pain without reaction, cheerfully putting up with all the pain. Meaning putting up with all the pain without reaction. If reaction comes in the mind, means that we are not putting up with the pain. Then it's not titiksha. Titiksha is when there is no reaction in my mind. Reaction in the present in terms of retaliation, reaction in the past in terms of lamenting, reaction in terms of future, in terms of anxiety. When the mind is free from retaliation, lamenting and anxiety, that kind of suffering is called titiksha. So idea is that, you see, titiksha is presented as one of the requirements for knowledge. Samadhi, shatka sampatti. Shama, dhamma, uparama, titiksha. All these are presented there as means of, in the context of knowledge, you have to see the usefulness of these things, or the need of these things. So what does titiksha, what does suffering has to do with the knowledge? We don't see any connection, but we see connection this way. That what does knowledge require? Knowledge requires a mind that enjoys tranquility, equanimity, balance, poise, objectivity, free from external and internal disturbances. So Shama, Dhamma, Uparama was told to us with reference to freeing ourselves from disturbances arising from within, in terms of raga, dveshas, desires, etc. And titiksha is told to us in terms of freeing ourselves from the disturbance from without. Because pain coming from outside, in terms of heat, cold, insult, dishonor, honor and dishonor, this dvandva. Life consists of dvandva, success and failure, honor and dishonor, praise and censure, heat and cold, comfort and discomfort, that will come whether you want or not. Ability to put up with this without any reaction. Being able to maintain the poise of my mind in spite of this pairs of this dvandva, or pairs of opposites or changing situation. That state of mind is called titiksha. And if you cannot do this, then this pain will become a disturbance all the time. Won't allow my mind to settle into knowledge. So for knowledge, we require a certain kind of mind, free from distractions and disturbance. Therefore, titiksha has a value. That the mind remains free from distraction or disturbance with reference to sources of pain outside of ourselves. Even if we suffered the pain and has gone away, we still worry about what will happen next time. What will that fellow do tomorrow? If somebody did something to me today, and suppose it is gone now, what will he do tomorrow? So future, that also is a disturbance. Oh, why should this fellow do to me in the past? I will take care, I will see him when I confront him again. That's the past. So mind has a tendency to go in the past, in the future, in the present also. Thus, putting up with things cheerfully, without losing the balance of our mind. Whatever suffering comes in life is called titiksha. Nothing is easy, All of this is a tall order, I will admit, But that's what it is. We should be told what is the goal. We should know what the goal is, then we will work towards it, inching towards it.
So Swamiji, what is the goal? The goal is to realize that we are Brahman?
Yes, to see this fact. The goal is to see this fact that you are limitless, you are free, you are Brahman.
Yeah, but we are covered with a costume, what you say, and we want to take off this costume. So we realize that the rajas and tamas are problems. So now we are going to fight against them. So we ask Krishna to take us in the middle of the battlefield. And we are looking at this enemy and it's so strong. I do not want to fight anymore. I want to be what I am.
So, to be able to see what you truly are, you see, it is our own mind that distorts the perception about ourselves, nobody else. My own mind sees myself as a limited being, even though I am limitless. So whenever the mind is under the influence of rajas and tamas or ragadveshas, it is going to project and it will present a distorted perception of myself. Therefore, the first thing to do is to make the mind sattvic. This is called the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti. The fourfold qualification that we are told is to make the mind sattvic. A sattvic mind sees things as they are. Then you see, so what we need to do is to make our mind sattvic. For that we are given all these different means. Yoga Shastra gives you yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, etc. The path of bhakti gives you shravanam, kirtanam, smaranam,